When Section 31 as a concept was introduced in the later seasons of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, its entire purpose as a storytelling device was to reject the idea that such an organization had any place in a Star Trek future. It was portrayed as a clandestine group that was tasked with doing whatever it took, no matter how morally reprehensible, to protect the Federation's interest, including interfering in other nations' affairs. Essentially, it was the Federation's version of the CIA. Sloan essentially was arguing that Bashir's idealism, and by extension the Federation's, was only possible because Section 31 protected his naive innocence.
Federation needs men like you, Doctor. Men of conscience, men of principle. You're also the reason Section 31 exists. Someone has to protect men like you from a universe that doesn't share your sense of right and wrong.
While Bashir argued, in some of my favorite episodes of the series, the exact opposite. That idealism isn't naive.
That's a glib answer, and a cheap way to avoid the fact that you've trampled on the very thing that those young men and women are out there dying to protect!
After Deep Space Nine, Section 31 only popped up really briefly in a couple movies and later shows, where it was clearly still shown to be an overtly bad thing. It also appeared, by the way, in some banger novels. However, modern Star Trek shows have used Section 31 much more liberally, and it often feels like Section 31 is arguing for the necessity of a CIA-style organization, the exact idea that Deep Space Nine was rejecting.
Nation building is never pretty. That is the unappetizing truth, and you know it.
Wow. I hate it.
In Discovery's first season, the ship's spore drive was heavily implied to be a covert Section 31 Black Ops project approved and run by Starfleet. But Season 2 went even further, officially naming Section 31 and reframing it for the first time as an authorized, well-known, apparently, arm of Starfleet.
Section 31 may not be the shining beacon of righteous conduct you want it to be, but they are a critical intelligence division.
Rather than being a disavowed Black Ops group,
Starfleet sanctions what you're doing.
We are an autonomous department.
we even see Georgiou as a Section 31 agent infiltrate the Klingon Empire to back leaders friendly to the Federation's interests, essentially mirroring real-world CIA actions and coups. But here in this movie, there's not even a pretense of critique. Instead, the movie basically asks, what if CIA stuff was done by quirky weirdos? It's the show kind of giving an explicit endorsement of the idea that the CIA is a necessary evil, that Section 31, and by extension, the CIA, are needed to keep America safe.
The Federation can only exist if a Section 31 exists.
And that completely undermines what Section 31 was created to critique.